And welcome, everybody, to another episode of Nothing Like a Good Book. And boy, is this one, and unusual to boot. It's called Deck Rebellion, Revolutionary Concepts for Outdoor Living. And the author is Sean McAleer. And a deck done right is what makes the outdoors come alive. All right, so we're not talking murders here, and we're not talking dramas, and we're not talking spy novels or anything else. We're talking about beautiful decks that can make or break a home, and I'm talking about the most awarded builder in North America. He's revolutionary when it comes to deck design. Deck Remodelers has received over 70, in fact, NADRA, that's North American Deck and Railing Association, NADRA, National Design Awards, and once considered nothing but a square add-on to the back of a house. You may remember this, folks. Yep, that's transformed into an additional living space, an entertainment space, a family space, and much, much more today. So, my special guest, founder and president of Deck Remodelers, Sean McAleer, has compiled a stunning collection of his artistry and design of these outdoor spaces in his new book, and that's called Deck Rebellion, Revolutionary Concepts for Outdoor Living. And it combines beautiful photos with personal accounts and Sean's history with architecture. Okay? Deck Rebellion is a beautiful collection of photographs. I mean, seeing is believing. I mean, that statement is ever so true when it comes to this particular book. I can't express how beautiful these decks are. They emphasize the importance of design and practical construction. And it'll give any reader a deck envy, to be honest with you. But what say you, Sean? Welcome to Nothing Like a Good Book.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the kind words.
Oh, well, mate, you have deserved it. I mean, this is like, it's like a gift you've been given. You're an artist and a painter and a sketcher and a God knows what, all rolled into one, and a builder all rolled into one as well. You've redefined what a deck is, you know? And you highlight the ways homeowners can use the space in an ever-changing world. And your book now reveals the eye of a craftsman, but a businessman too, because you go into detail about the process of the design from start to finish using distinct examples. What a concept. And I have to say, Sean, we Australians love our backyards and entertainment decks. And it would seem, judging by this beautifully illustrated book, so do Americans. So welcome, my friend. Lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. And yeah, in America, it's a huge thing. And I've competed against some Australians. We've had them in the award competition over the years, Australia, New Zealand. Actually friends with some designers there in New Zealand. The design transcends across continents and cultures and everything else. If it's a good design, everybody can appreciate it.
Right. So when you say you compete against, all these others, there's no way known, I guess, judges can go to all these places to see their jobs. I guess they're all on video, are they?
Yeah, so there's a strict criteria for submitting jobs. So there's, challenges on the project is very big for points, but we have to submit pictures, design details, videos, the whole works. So the judges, and there's judges from all over the world that judge these projects, and it's all blind judging. They don't know who they're judging. And it comes down, believe it or not, it comes down to a tenth of a point sometimes.
Right. Wow. That is tight, isn't it?
Yeah.
You quote, Sean, that, it all starts with someone saying, hey, can you do this? And your answer seems to be always, well, if it's possible, we'll make it happen.
Right. If it doesn't defy physics or the zoning department. I don't know if they have zoning departments over there in Australia.
Oh, yeah. Everything.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. Very much so.
Those if it doesn't defy physics or zoning department, I can build it.
Well, I got to tell you, folks, if you've ever considered, maybe you're one of these, very good do-it-yourself guys, this book would interest you. I tell you what, and it's a beautiful. I see this book very much as a lovely gift. If you've ever got anybody in the family all the way through, next Thanksgiving, somebody who's doing a building trade, somebody who is a builder, somebody who has been considering doing something for their home and they're not really sure which way to go, you've got to get this book for them, because that's really what it is. It's Imagination Plus. You're talking pools, kitchens, fans, fireplaces, and these only scratch the surface of, in fact, what you designed, Sean. You highlight the two most important steps, though, when it comes to deck planning: cover the space and let the possibilities ride. So he asks the important questions of what purpose a deck serves. So you must sit there with the people and say, okay, what do you want out of this? How do you want to live in this space, right? Because everybody's different,
Right.
yes?
Yep, exactly. And we're designing for people, and we're designing a space for how it makes them feel, right? They want to have that feeling of walking out onto their space. And you know that feeling, Mark, when you're on vacation and you finally get there and you get that first cocktail in your hand and you sit down on the beach and you put your toes in the sand and the weight of the world just lifts off your shoulders and the breeze is perfect and it's just awesome. That's the feeling that I want to design for people and create that space right outside their back door. So it's not just a travel on vacation once or twice a year if you're lucky. It's come home from work every day and go out into that space. And I mean, for me, going out onto my deck in the morning and spending the entire day eating breakfast out there, lunch and dinner, movie night with the kids, whatever, that's just a slice of heaven for me.
Well, it is. It is. And when you get this book, folks, you'll understand what he means, because all the different designs, and there are so many of them befitting the house, because each house is different, and the space and this and that and what you can make. But I agree with you. I'm a homebod, and to me, having something like this, apart from the fact going out there, relaxing, figuring out how I'm going to pay for it.
There is that. There is that.
Yeah, I can still sit there with a lovely cocktail and so on. But no, they're absolutely stunning. So really, I mean, it boils down to, okay, so how do you want to live your life? How do you want to use it? Is it more for entertaining, a private sanctuary? I mean, do you want to have weddings there? You got kids? Do you see that happening? Another big event coming up, maybe?
Yep.
Of course, the kids, and then the kids have kids, and then teenagers, and how does the family want to use the deck as the kids grow? All this sort of thing comes in. There's a lot of psychology there.
It often becomes the favorite room in the house. I hear that over and over again. And you're talking about how to use it to entertain and everything. And that's what a lot of people go into this thinking. And inevitably, what I hear from them, and we're going to shoot a project tonight that we wrapped up the end of last year, and now it's all planted and everything's all set up. And the woman said, the client said the same thing to me. She goes, we originally built this so we can entertain, have family, all our kids, our grandkids over, everybody over. She goes, but I use it every morning. I go out there in the morning and I sit there and I take my phone calls and I'm on my laptop and I'm hanging out and just having my coffee in the morning. And I never even thought about that. And then I just spend so much, because the old deck where it was just a rectangle, the furniture's covered, it was, but it was just sitting out. They never went out there. It wasn't convenient. But when you have it covered and you have, the climate control, the heaters, the fans, and it's a beautiful space, and you don't have to uncover your furniture every time you go out there. You can just walk out there on a phone call like this and sit down and just have a conversation. It becomes such a great space.
Yeah, absolutely lovely to be able to do that. And I was laughing because you remind me of years ago as a young jock working my way through my career. I was staying with some friends in New Zealand. They had this shack of a house, God love them, and they had nothing out the back. And he said, I'd give anything to have a deck out here. I can have a beer and I can have a smoke and relax and look at the mountains. And I said, well, come on, let's build one. So we grabbed some old 2x4s and put it all together and some planks and shoved them down, a bit of old furniture we found on the road, and bingo, there was the deck.
That's old school. That's how they used to do it.
I tell you what, but your stuff, oh my God, I dare ask you. Look, folks, you got to get this book to understand it. But you did, then you mentioned something about control and heat and all this jazz. I'm looking at right now at the book on my screen, and I'm looking at a lot of the outdoor ones. You've got them also for inside through all weathers, yes?
Well, we have Phantom Screens, and that's an international company, so I'm sure you have them down in Australia. But so Phantom Screens, they're bug screens that come down. They're also vinyl that comes down. Even without that, we're designing for 10 months a year. When you have the infrared heaters out there, if it's 40 degrees, and I don't know what that is in Celsius, but if it's 40 degrees outside, it's 65 on the deck. Mm-hmm. So you can have the fire on, have the heaters on, and be hanging out in sweatshirts and,
but not if
watching
it's snowing.
TV, watching a movie. Oh, if you look on my Instagram, you'll see me out there. I was sitting out there and I was like, oh, I got to videotape this because it's just so magical. Mm-hmm. I had the fire on, the heaters on. It was just after a snowstorm and the snow was swirling and spinning around. And I was drinking my coffee and it was just after sunrise. And it was amazing. It was just absolutely amazing. Yeah. Sitting out there, the snow is falling. I mean, people in this country, they fly out west to Colorado and to Vail and up into Canada to sit by a fire outside a ski lodge in the snow when it's 4 degrees out.
That's right. That's exactly
you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So why can't you do the same thing here? And if you have kids and stuff and they want to play outside in the snow, you can sit by the fire on the deck and watch them play.
Why not? And be done with it. And with your decks as well, it's not just the architecture of the wood or the steel or the metals or whatever the materials are. It's the gardening around them and the plants and the actual design of that circumferences around the certain areas where you sit. I mean, there's one that's a dining one. I mean, there's something to be said for, look, you eat here, the food is here. But if you just want to have a drink and talk to friends, you come down here. And then if you want to talk some business maybe, or it's a bit chillier, we'll light the fire and we'll go down there.
Right.
It sounds like a castle, doesn't it? But anyway.
It's purpose-built, right? So back in the day, everyone would just build a square or rectangle and then figure out how to furnish it.
Yeah.
But you would never build a house like that. You'd never just build random rooms and say, okay, let's figure it out now. Where's the kitchen going to go? Where's the living room going to go?
Right.
Where's the dining room going to go? You build it specifically. So I started doing that a long time ago. When I first started doing that, I'm like, so we'll build this area will be the kitchen. We'll build a kitchen in here and we'll put the dining table here and the lounge over there. And people would say, oh, I don't know if I want to keep my grill there. I kind of like being able to move it around.
Right.
And every time I ask that question, no one else has answered it other than I say to them, so where else have you moved this grill? Well, it's been there since the day we moved in 10 years ago. We never moved it. I go, so in your house, do you ever go, hey, you know what? Let's drag the stove into the living room and call that the kitchen this month.
Yeah, right.
You're not gonna do it.
Well,
so you got to commit, and then you can design better spaces.
That's it. You've got to commit. Catherine Picard, who's the librarian and book connoisseur, she gave you 5 stars. I mean, this is a perfect title for readers who love architecture and architectural photography. And there you go. There's some other areas I never touched on. Photographers, architects, home design and landscaping. There's some more niches. Other readers may enjoy it for just the talking points it may give for thinking about their own decks and outdoor areas. Now, it looks like, because they're so gorgeous, I mean, it looks like it'd cost an arm and a leg, but I could be wrong there, right?
No, you're right. And a kidney. Yeah, today's decks used to be, old school. You'd throw it together with lumber. It was cheap to put together. It was just basically a platform.
Right.
And when it rotted out or, splintered up, you ripped it down and you put in something new. The stuff that we're building today, we're building steel frames. Typically, we're putting decking on there, PVC decking that is meant to have as a lifetime warranty and also a 50-year stain and fade warranty.
Wow.
So it's built to last as long as your house. So the cost reflects that, but it's no maintenance. 99% of what we do is no maintenance. Everything on the deck can get hosed off.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
There's no painting. There's nothing.
That's huge after all. I mean, the whole idea of being able to enjoy it and relax it is not to spend all weekend working on it, is it?
Right.
So what inspired your passion, for deck construction of all things?
Well, I grew up, I'm third generation. My father, my grandfather are from Ireland, and my grandfather came over here actually and worked up until the Great Depression and actually went home 6 months before the market crash. But he had saved up enough money to buy a farm back in Ireland. My father followed his track and came over here, and his first job actually was building forms for Madison Square Garden when that was built. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Oh, of course, yes.
That was his first job. And he eventually ended up getting a job in a cabinet shop and working, and then running an architectural woodworking shop. And that's where I grew up. So I grew up seeing fine detail work, as well as more structural stuff. But I grew up doing that. So my early career, I was building homes, and then things went sideways here with the housing market and everything else. And I scaled back and I started focusing on exteriors, and building decks was part of that. But at that time, I was like a painter with two colors on my palette. There was cedar and there was pressure treated pine, and both of them were crap, basically. So it was very frustrating building with that. And then, we got to a point where Ipe came out, which is Brazilian walnut. I don't know if you've heard of it, but ironwood it's also called. But it's a fine hardwood, and more hardwood started coming in. And I said, this is what I want to work with. So all my awards, my early awards, are all for Ipe decks. And I built them like furniture. I built them like the cherry libraries I had built, and the walnut cabinets and all that stuff I had learned from my father.
Right.
That's how I built those decks. But with the extra twist is I had to build them to survive the elements, the expansion, the contraction, the heat, the water, everything else. So there was a lot of due diligence and a lot of engineering and figuring out how to do things to make it stay together. So that's how I started doing it. And I really just gravitated towards doing decks when I had this one opportunity to do. The guy basically said, open checkbook, whatever you want to do. And I told him, I said, this is going to be nicer than the Ipe furniture that you order. And I was right. When his Ipe furniture came, he unpacked it and he goes, you know what, the deck's nicer.
Unbelievable. So from Ireland, huh? So you've been back there, of course, many times, no doubt.
Oh, yeah. I was just over there for Christmas, actually.
I was there last year, the whole Cahassavine and the Ring of Fire. And talk about building that gift shop there at the cliffs of, what's it called? The cliffs of...
Moher.
There you go. Underneath the mountain. I was impressed with that.
Yep.
It was very good. So... this book, I'm telling you guys, you've got to get your hands on this book. I was thinking, you're very fortunate. I bet you only have to email something like this to every architect, builder, God knows what else, all the different various niches and people in business per se across the country, and they would refer clients to you, right? You'd get your lead generation and referrals from current people. Yeah.
I'm fortunate. That way. We have a huge following online. We have 425,000 Instagram followers, and
wow,
I don't even know how many. We've got over 500,000 followers online. So we get a lot of love from them. They really appreciate what we do, and we get a lot of referrals through that. We're not for everybody. If you're going to do a rectangle, if you're going to do something very, very simple, you don't need to pay me to do that. And with me comes a whole team. I have architects, engineers.
Right.
I have interior designers that pick out all the finishes with clients. So it's a full service thing.
Yeah.
But that gives me the opportunity. You see the crazy things that I do there. And it gives me the opportunity to say, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do this, and this is how I want to do it. And then I have a whole team of people to execute, because I can dream up whatever I want.
Oh.
But if it doesn't get executed,
lovely.
So I'm lucky to have a great team.
A great team. And lighting makes a difference too. I notice it's beautiful. Look at that built-in fireplace there. Oh, God, that's gorgeous. Oh, I'd give anything to have that, but never mind. Okay. And that
our lighting partners are from the Netherlands. I was over there with them last year.
Okay.
And the guy that started the company over there for Inlight, Jurgen, super cool guy, super nice guy. He's got a great team. He invited me and several of the top deck builders from Canada and US over there to sit down with them for a week and tell them what we wanted.
Oh, isn't that good?
So that they could engineer and design it. But phenomenal lighting, just great. And that's what we do with all our partners.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use, and I started that early on, and it's been a huge benefit to me and my clients. I meet with the people that invent these products, the people that test these products,
right?
Whether it's decking, steel framing, lighting, appliances, heaters. I was just out in LA at Infratech, meeting with the owner of that company and walking through the facility, and top-notch, world-class facility out there.
Mm-hmm.
all of these products. I do this so my clients don't have to.
Wow. So I guess the importance of a master plan, when you're designing an outdoor space is critical. And that must also come to, does traveling inspire your designs?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I've been around the world and I've seen, and I'm a kid who grew up in a mile square town. Okay. And my best friend is from that mile square town, and my wife is from that mile square town. So I was in a very little.
We're all in the mile.
Yes, all in a mile. I was in a very little small town there, and always wanted to get out into the world and see the world. Of course, as a kid, I was sent to Ireland every other summer to work on my grandmother's farm, which was great.
Right.
But the Cliffs of Moher and the Ring of Kerry and, different places in Ireland. When I took my kids there older, they're like, "Oh, you've been here?" I'm like, "No, I've never been there." My entire existence in Ireland, all the time I was here, was on a farm in Galway. Or up in Tyrone at my father's farm. So I'm a tourist seeing this stuff too, some of this stuff for the first time. But just seeing stuff, a lot of European design. And in some ways, when I was building my last house, which was 12 years ago now, I was over in Ireland and my cousins are builders there, and they were putting in black windows on everything and black gutters. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I came back here and I'm trying to get black windows for the house. And one company had it. It was like a 30% upcharge, and it was like 6-month wait time. And they're like, nobody does black windows. And then I wanted black gutters and leaders and everything else. And my contractor who was doing that, he's like, I don't know about this. You sure? I'm like, 100%, just do it. And I did it. And he was like, oh my God, this looks so good. I'm going to sell so much of this. This looks great. But it took years for the U.S. to catch up with that part of the market. The same thing with the pergolas that we do. Black was not a standard color, and I kept going back to the company.
Right.
You need to have black. They're like, oh no, you're just in the Northeast. It's more. The rest of the country doesn't want that. You don't understand, because they're from like Omaha in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
Well, I custom ordered it for a client who said, I want black. I don't care what it costs. I want black. We did it. I put it on Instagram. 3 months later, black was a standard color for them.
There you go.
Their phones blew up all across the country and in Canada. Everybody wanted the black pergola.
See, you're a pioneer in your own way too, aren't you? Very much so.
I try. I
don't
follow rules. That's ergo the book of Deck Rebellion. Why can't we? Why can't we do this? Just because that's not the way it's done doesn't mean we can't.
Yeah. These homes belong in the lifestyle of the rich and famous, just about, because what you do with the backyard lifts the rest of the house. You know what I mean?
I've had some people that have had to remodel their house after we were done.
You've done
like,
too
now
good
the rest
a job.
of my house looks like crap.
Yeah, now what am I going to do? Right.
Yeah,
so
I've literally done that.
Sean, how do you balance art with practical construction?
So growing up like I did, I appreciate the value of money, and I don't spend other people's money. Or I do spend other people's money, but I spend it like it's my own.
Like it's your own,
and for me, form follows function. And building a giant deck for no reason, it doesn't make any sense. Spend your money on things that are going to matter. And what I do with clients is, when we talk about a budget, I talk about wants and needs and what do they want to do and the challenges on their property. And then we talk about budget. And then my ultimate job is to take that budget and value engineer that to give them the biggest bang for the buck. And I have no problem telling people, they're like, oh, we could just make it bigger. We can make it big. I'm like, we can do whatever you want. You can spend your money how you want, but you don't need to spend this money, because that's not going to add to the enjoyment of this space. It's just building for the sake of building. If you want to, no problem. But I would save that money. Save that money and buy something else. Buy whatever else you want. But so the design for me is more important than just selling more and more and more. Because I have some people that, not that they have unlimited budgets, but it doesn't matter to them if it costs an extra $10,000.
Yeah, well,
but it kind of matters to me. You know what I mean? It kind of matters to me. Like, yeah, you could spend that, but you don't need to. And those people, they really appreciate it. They're like, you don't think we need that? I'm like, this is plenty big enough. This is bigger than any room in your house. And they really appreciate that. They're like, oh, thank you, because, you could have sold us more. I'm like, yeah, it's not worth it. There's no ROI on that. So I kind of think about it from their point of view, always think about it from their point of view.
Right, looking through their eyes. Yeah, no, very thoughtful, very smart. It's good business, very good business because you care. And, you come from a third generation building background. Your family has influenced, your dad influenced your work, but your current work, has anybody influenced that more than anything? Well,
I used to be...
The travel overseas would have helped, right?
Right, for sure. When I started doing this, I got to a certain point. I used to be able to look at other people, what they were doing, and I would be like, oh, I want to do that. And then I got to one point in my career where I'm looking around and I'm like, so now everybody is chasing me. So I'm kind of like, what I'm doing, a lot of the stuff that we do, it's in the awards. 2014, we did the Sunken Fire Lounge. By 2015, 16, there was 10 of them in the awards, submitted for the awards. Yeah, everybody copied it. The curved stairs that we did, the helical stairs, everybody started copying that. And so my team knows everybody's looking at what we're doing. And we're always kind of like aware of that and trying to, innovating and stuff. But there's a lot of guys out there that are taking stuff, young guys that are seeing what I've done. And they've come up to me and said, you inspired me to do what I do. And these are other guys that are winning awards. And I see what they're doing. And, I get inspiration from them too. They do some really, really cool stuff. So there's a whole generation coming up behind me that is, taking things to another level.
That's good.
It's very cool. It's very cool to see them do that.
A career motivator as well. And of course, you drop your card off and say, hey, you ever want to work with me, let me know. Now your team gets stronger and stronger. No one can compete with you.
And I do have guys that do that because it's not an easy business. And, some of these guys, they'll do these magnificent projects, but then they'll end up out of business because the business end of it, if you're not making money, it's great to be creative, but there's a lot of starving artists.
Oh, that sounds like my business at the moment. I love what I do, and I do so much for everybody else, but, I'm not making money. What am I doing wrong?
It's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
Oh, well, we'll get there. So, president of Deck Remodelers, third-generation carpenter and cabinet maker, has redefined outdoor living through visionary deck design. Now, folks, under his leadership, Deck Remodelers, he has become a trailblazer in the industry. 70 national design awards. That's nothing to sneeze at. And holding the distinction of being the most awarded deck design firm in North America since 2010. Not just 2010, but since 2010. Now, a pioneer in his field, Sean is definitely among the first members of NADRA, where he has been actively involved for almost 15 years now. And your expertise also has earned you a place in Infratech's Visionary Committee, as well as a panelist spot on the Luxe Interiors and Design webinar. Now, where would I find that, by the way? Where is that heard, the Luxe Interiors and Design webinar?
A lot of this stuff is up on our YouTube.
Okay.
So you can go to
YouTube, okay. So.
Yeah, the website's deckremodelers.com. And YouTube has Deck Remodel. It's YouTube/Deck Remodelers. Also, the book, if people are looking to get the book, if they want a signed copy, they can go through our website. Otherwise, they can go through Amazon and order it on there.
Okay. That's very nice of you. You sit there and sign them all?
Yeah. If any of the ones that come through our office, what we do is I'll sign it and ship it out.
Okay, that's very kind of you. And are you? I've noticed too. A lot of you use a lot of beautiful brickwork and rock work.
Yep. We have a quarry here in Connecticut that we work with specially, and they'll do the same stone in 3 or 4 different shapes for us, so we can find the exact right one for client. So we do a lot of natural stone work. We do the pools, we do the patios, the waterfalls.
Oh, you do the pools.
Stuff. Oh yeah, the stuff that isn't even in the book. The stuff that we've done in the last year and going forward. The stuff that we're doing this year, it's insane. I mean, there's some stuff that's absolutely crazy.
I got to get a copy of that.
Well, it'll be up on the Instagram. It'll be up on Instagram. And the other thing too, cool about the book is because we do walkthroughs on Instagram of these projects, so people can follow us and watch the walkthroughs. But also in the book, there's a QR code in some of the pictures, and you can literally scan that with your phone, and I'll take you on a walkthrough of that project.
Oh, very nice. Very nice indeed. Well, I could tell you a Northeast. I mean, look at the beautiful trees and the green lawns, and it's like my hometown in Melbourne, Australia, you know. Lots of green. I'm in the desert where I am now, and it's a different sort of beauty. But a lot of people have come from the East and try to make the desert like that, and it just doesn't work. It's not meant to be.
You're fighting nature. Nature wins.
Yeah, and I look at this beautiful... the tiling you've done around the pools and the things you've done like that. I unfortunately, we have a lot of people come through. And if there's an old saying in life, isn't there, mate? You pay for what you get, right?
Yes.
And if you try like I did, try to, get things done too cheaply. My brick backyard, even though my bar is lovely with the river rock and all the rest of it, but the backyard with the brick is falling apart. So there you go. I got to get it redone just about because it's sinking. So I don't understand that. But they did do a good job padding it. But at the end of the day, someone's told me you've got to have a special type of mixture to be able to do that sort of thing. So, but these are the things
it's those things that you don't know that get you.
That's it. You don't know what you don't know. You know that?
Right.
Otherwise,
and
you'll
that's
never
why
know.
Right. My clients, they rely on me. They come to me and they tell me what they want, and I tell them this is how we need to build it. And if somebody wants to do something that's crazy, cut corners or whatever, I build economically. I'm not wasting time or money or anything, but it has to be beautiful and it has to be bulletproof. It has to last.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I mean, it's practical, very practical, beautiful, not just the cover looking beautiful, but underneath, God knows what. It's not only beautiful, it's beautifully done and soundly done, cost effectively. That's everything put together, isn't it? But that's beautiful, folks. You can do that. Check out, first of all, the website, because I love promoting the website because you can always sit there in your podgies and your pajamas and have a cup of joe and go through stuff. And as a matter of fact, I just put your book with the link, this beautiful book. It'll go up on my site on markbishopmedia.com and in the shows. And in there, it'll be there with your headshot and so on. It's a nice bio shot, by the way. And your bio and everything else, and then they can go right through this book, bit by bit by bit, and much as they want to do. And it's going to be lovely for them to do that. But you can also go to YouTube /Deck Remodelers, okay, and have a good look there, what he was talking about. And what was the Instagram address again?
You can go there to Deck Rebellion, but Deck Remodelers is where all the crazy stuff lives.
Deck Remodelers.
And that's we do lots of walkthroughs and
lovely.
You can see, I'll walk you through the project, tell you the different things that we did.
Lovely. Absolutely beautiful. Well, it's funny you were talking about that. I produce professional business podcasts for businesses, when I'm not interviewing for the Mark Bishop Show. And it's nice to see you utilizing the video aspect of this as you do walk through and tell people and show what you do, because that's very much in the now. That's very much them knowing who you are, believing you, isn't it? That's
right.
That's excellent. Because today it's all about knowing who you are, liking you before I can trust you, and then when I do trust you, I'll do business with you. So
exactly.
Well, I hope you sell 1 million of these. I mean, it's so beautiful. It deserves to be. I wonder if they're ever going to have a show, like an art show, only it's all outdoor guys with blown-ups of all these. They're beautiful shots.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
It sounds like the Deck Awards, which is basically the Oscars of the deck world.
All right. Fabulous.
And there's all kinds of, there's all stuff blown up and big screens and all kinds of stuff like that. It's
lovely.
It's a pretty interesting thing. And they live stream it on Facebook every year. So it'll be next January.
Folks, if you want to look at this beautiful book, it's a flip book, right? Lovely, full color. And I'm putting that link also onto his actual episode, this episode of with Sean, and it's all there. So you don't have to go hunting for it, but you can have a look at this by clicking that particular link, and it will bring the book up for you. And then you can flip through and have a good look through that. Well, Sean, it's been absolutely fabulous. I wish you all the luck in the world. You deserve it. You make your own luck, mate.
Thanks, Mark.
You're an incredible, gifted man, and I think your father would be very proud of you, wouldn't
he? He's very proud of me. He doesn't say a lot, that's not his type, but he's very proud. So I'm really happy to make him proud.
That's good. Deck Rebellion, Revolutionary Concepts for Outdoor Living by Sean McAleer. I did get that right, didn't I, McAleer?
Yes, you did.
Thank God for that. All right. I forgot to ask you when we first started, but
no, you got it.
Usually I get them, but how did you get these? One last question. How did you get these aerial shots with a drone?
Yeah, I was an early adopter with drones, and all the pictures in the book I took.
You took?
I took them.
That's amazing. I mean, they look so, professionally, photographically done.
Yeah, I took them all. I got a drone. Oh, I have 5 or 6 drones now, but I was an early adopter. When the projects were getting bigger. This is going back years and years ago, but I was on the fence of whether to buy this camera thing that comes on a stand and extends up 20 feet and with a remote control. And I was like, oh my God, it's going to cost me so much money. And then I saw this drone and I'm like, well, that's not quite as much money and I could just do so much more. And
right.
So early adopter we adopt technology very quickly.
All right, Sean. Thank you so much. Good luck with what you're doing in the next 5 years and the new stuff coming out. That'll be amazing, no doubt. Spas built into beautiful decks.
Follow us on Instagram and you'll get to see all of it.
All righty. Instagram, that'll go up too. The link will go up on that as well. Lovely speaking with you, and all the very best, okay?
Thanks, Mark.
You're most welcome. Bye-bye.